Hey everybody, and welcome to another podcast. I know everybody's doing one these days. It's something that I've wanted to do for a while, and this downtime is just giving me the opportunity to do it because obviously I have the equipment, and I got a lot of thoughts, I've got to put them somewhere. Therapy is very expensive. I do have the window open so you can hear cars behind me, but I think I don't care. I think that it's helping me feel connected to the outside world, and that has to be the priority right now. And it also lets you know that I'm not sitting in a weird sterile room by myself. I'm in my house. I'm in a comfy armchair. I got a blanket just in case, even though it's a very nice sunny day outside. But we always got to have coziness as the priority, and mental health is the priority, and that's part of also why I wanted to make this. I wanted to have sort of a chat every few days, just see how I'm feeling. Might be once a week, might be more, might be less, depending on how long this goes for, depending on how I'm feeling, and just talk about. I would describe myself. I'm not an outdoorsy person at all. Definitely my interests much more lie with going on Tumblr and imagining Chris Evans marrying me. Very much an inside person. And I wanted to kind of delve into what that looks like as a choice versus as something that you can't avoid. And also wanted to have just a chat about me and how I'm going. I used to make YouTube videos a few years ago and I stopped because I didn't know what I wanted to create. And I think that this more chatty, informal discussion is sort of where I was leading it anyway. I was trying to do an interview series for a while, and that didn't work out for my YouTube channel a few years ago. And so now I'm just going to interview myself. Because nobody else is allowed in my house. I can't have somebody over to do this with them at this point in time. So I may as well just have this sort of discussion. Yeah, I don't know. It's been weird. So it's the beginning of April. I've actually been, I would call it maybe self-isolation. I'm not calling it quarantine. I've been in self-isolation since the second week of March, about the 8th or 9th of March. So for me, it's definitely been 4 weeks. I think tomorrow it'll be exactly 4 weeks. And it's been really interesting because I was sick in that first week. I had a flu, I don't know what, and I decided that I wanted to stay home because I was sick. I took the week off work and I thought, max, I'll be out of here 14 days and then I'll be back to, a social distancing life. But that didn't happen. Things changed really quickly. And now I've been in my house for 4 weeks. I think I've left twice once to go to McDonald's drive-through, to sit with my friend Britt in our separate cars, with our phones on speaker, looking at each other and having a conversation while eating McDonald's together. And once I went to Bunnings with my mum because she is 65 and she decided she wanted to go to Bunnings, and I was like, I will come with you. Don't touch anything. You can go, but don't touch anything. I'll touch the trolley handle. I will unpack things from shelves. You can come and direct me, but I need to be there. And I didn't explicitly say that to her as why I was going, but that's why I went. And other than that, I've gone up to the local park for a walk around, but I'm very much doing as much social distancing as possible. And before even all of the lockdown came into effect, I was home intentionally not going out into public and not interacting with other people because there's just no way to know. Yeah, anyway, we all know this. I don't want this to be a discussion of the quarantine. Oh, I lied. I did actually also leave a third time. I went up to the local shops and bought a Nintendo Switch because everyone was playing Animal Crossing and I was like, it was at a tipping point where I was like, this is going to go on for weeks, months, maybe the end of 2020. I was like, I think everybody is about to buy a Nintendo Switch. So I am going to go buy one right now before there's kind of, I don't know, it was still at a point where the numbers of people infected in Sydney were low. or seemingly low reported cases were low. So I was like, I'll go out now before things get worse and also before they sell out. And I'm glad I did, because apparently switches and switch lights are selling out everywhere. And I have been playing Animal Crossing so much. Really excited to like terraform my island. I also tried to kick out one of my villagers, and she wouldn't leave. And I don't know, now I have to face her every day, and she wants to have a conversation. She's like, why are you talking to me again? And I'm like, because I want you to leave. That's why. And I don't know how to do that. So if you've got any tips on how to kick a villager out of Animal Crossing, or if there's a level you have to get to before you can even do that, let me know. I need to know how to get rid of this annoying, like, she's like a purple frog. I think I don't like her just because she's ugly, and I think that's horrible. But also, it's Animal Crossing, who cares? Like, the cute little animals. If there's one of them just like, you don't look cute, you look weird, you look like I don't know, some kind of malformed science experiment from some kind of chemical testing lab. I don't want you in my island. That's horrible. But I think that's fine, because they're not real. It's not real. So that's where I'm at, just emotionally. I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing. Like I said, I want to do a few episodes of these every so often. I really don't want them to last too long. And because of the way that my camera works, it's a Canon, and you guys that have Canons know, after like 24 minutes or is it 28 minutes and 59 seconds, something stupid like that, it just stops recording. And I don't know how to fix that. I've done all of the things on my computer. I've got all of the softwares. I've got the Canon utility. It's still, I can't make it work. So it'll be under 25. I don't want to take that much time out of your day, because there's the great thing for those of us who love being indoors and who have lots of interest in watching YouTube and listening to podcasts and taking in content, is that so much of that content now is being produced at a rate of stuff that used to be behind a paywall is being made temporarily free. Stuff that you used to have to go to the cinema for is being released video on demand. People who are staying home are making content that they couldn't previously because they have the time and energy, a la this. So, me being somebody who just loves watching, listening, taking in other people's opinions and lives and experiences through that medium, it's like the world is a candy shop right now. The internet is vast and deep and full of stuff that I never would have had the time to watch or consume previously. So that is helping us through, and I'm thankful to those people who've made things free where it wasn't previously, or created more content where they hadn't previously, to help each other feel connected and get through. And I think that's part of why I'm doing this. And you know what? Like, if the only person that enjoys this thing that I'm doing right now is me, then that has value. And that took me a few, I was going to say days, but probably a few weeks to come to terms with. Because I thought, if I do this, who's going to care? No one's going to care. And that might still be the case, but I care. And if I matter to myself, then that's okay. And I think that you have to go into this time thinking that. Like, oh, another podcast. Yeah, it is another podcast. But you know what? All that stuff about like, oh, when Shakespeare was in quarantine, he wrote King Lear, blah. It's like, okay, firstly, we're all going through a global like trauma and none of us are working from home. What we're doing is trying to survive this like weird grieving process for our lives as we knew it, and actual literal grieving for people we knew, for some of us, and trying to get through that while also not losing our jobs. You know what I mean? Like, it's not quite working from home in a sense that it would have the same meaning previous to this time. And so it took me a little while to kind of to get into that process, that headspace of like this creation that I wouldn't have time to do beforehand, I have now time to do. And that can be a positive thing. And I think that there needs to be a conversation around you are allowed to feel happiness during this time. You are allowed to enjoy being able to do more watercolor painting, or spend time with your family or friends or kids, or getting back into cooking that you didn't have the time to previously. You are allowed to feel happy and enjoy this time. I think there's a lot of I think we're all very aware how traumatic and painful this moment in history is to live through, and those motorcycles just really get it as well. Those motorcycles going by, they're like, yes, Hannah, we agree. So I think we all are aware of how traumatic it is, and I think constantly talking about that might be like reopening a wound. For me, it definitely is. And so I think that we need to kind of allow ourselves and each other to feel happiness in this time. And I am thankful that I am safe enough and healthy enough and have had this equipment previously that I now am able to indulge in these creative endeavors that I was always interested in but could never quite work out how or why or what I wanted to say. And previous to this, so much of my intent when I started my YouTube channel was very much talking about traveling with mental health issues and how to go about that. And very quickly it became just like, take a shot every time Hannah cries on camera, because I was away from home for quite a few months, and it was, yeah. So, and then I came home and I continued vlogging and I continued making videos, and a lot of them I did try to discuss mental health. And I think it was trying to be both things, both a split between talking about mental health and also giving you a space to just laugh at kind of, dick jokes and not care about what else was going on in the world or in your world, and a bit of an escape. And it was trying to be both. And this is probably the same thing. This is like, sometimes we'll talk about, fun things to do while inside, from someone who's been doing it for years. But then also I think that the discussion of like, okay, let's actually look inside ourselves. Let's do a little bit of introspection and just see what's going on, man. Like, peel back those layers and just figure out like, how are we feeling? And I think the past few weeks, because like I said, for me, it has been 4 weeks. And I think for most other people, it's been 3. Which, I mean, doesn't really, I mean, at that point, it's kind of the same. You know what I mean? Like 1 week versus 2 weeks, a bit different. 2 weeks versus 3 weeks, a bit different. 3 to 4 is like, it's all the same. Time matters nothing anymore. And I did do quite a while, 2.5 weeks probably, of just like eating trash, staying in bed. And not even because I was depressed, just because I was like, well, this sounds very like I was depressed, but like, well, what's the point of getting out of bed? But almost like enjoying that. Like, yes, I'm going to sit in bed and I'm going to watch that Netflix show from 2 years ago that I missed out on because I was working full time, and now I have the time to watch it. And I'm very lucky that I still have my job. My hours were cut drastically and I am working from home, but I'm really lucky that I am still able to at least a few hours a week be like, cool, I'm going to go do this job. That is not watching Tiger King or, whatever else is popular on Netflix right now. Might do a bit of discussion about that sort of stuff, but also I don't want people to feel alienated like, oh, you haven't seen the new season of Tiger King? Well, I'm going to talk about it for 20 minutes, so you can't listen to this episode because I'm going to spoil it. Like, I don't want this to be that. I mean, I'll obviously drop in pop culture references and mention things that I've been watching, but I'm not interested in alienating people. I would rather, if I do discuss something, discuss it in a way that's like, if you haven't heard of it, here's an overview, but I'm not going to spoil the TV show, or I'm not going to go into in-depth so you don't understand, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, sidetrack. Welcome to this. I should probably have just called this thing Tangents. Like, that's all it's going to be. It's just me going on insane tangents while I sit here and chat to you. So what was my point? This is going to happen so often. What was I saying? Oh my God, you guys. What was I even going on about? Oh my God, Becky, look at her butt. It is so big. She looks like one of those rap guys' girlfriends. You know what? I almost kept going. Almost did the whole thing because I know it. And I know at least the first verse and most of the second verse. Sometimes when I'm doing the second verse, I get caught up and I accidentally sing part of the first verse. But like, I know most of that song. And when Nicki Minaj came out with Anaconda, I was like, girl, this is a good song and I like it. But also, I would rather listen to the original. I want to listen to both in quick succession. It's like watching The Room. I was about to say Room, which is also a great film. The Room and then The Disaster Artist, like double punch. I want to do that, but with Baby Got Back and then Anaconda by Nicki Minaj. So Mix-a-Lot, you know what? He just mixes a lot, and you got to respect that. That ASMR swallow sound, really delish. Look, this is the point where, like, guys, we're going to get real up close and personal. And if you don't like mouth sounds, sorry. And if you don't like me eating, it's going to happen. Like, you're going to get to know me. Because isn't that all we want in the world? To just feel a sense of, like, being truly known by other people and, like, a sense of belonging because we feel seen by someone. Yes. And also, look, let's be honest, that's part of why this has been really hard. Because so much of, for me personally, the way that I self-identify is through external sources. And look, we've been going to therapy about it. We have been going to therapy about it for a while. And that's part of why, okay, here's the thing. When I was a teenager, like when we first started getting smartphones, when we all upgraded from the Nokia 3310, that should tell you how old I am. When we started getting smartphones in high school and you could put photos as your background, which was like, oh my God, it's not just this weird green with black squares on it. I found it really disturbing when people put photos of themselves as their background. I was like, how vain are you? That, like, look in a mirror, mate. Like, you see yourself every day. What do you want to put a photo of yourself there? Like, yeah, if it's a photo of you, like, with your best friend, or you with your boyfriend, or you with, like, a group of people at a thing, that's fine. But some people just had themselves. And I was like, even sometimes, like, a photo of them and their boyfriend together, I was like, just have the photo of your boyfriend. Like, unless it's a special occasion, if it's just you two, like, hanging out at your house, I was like, why do you need you in that photo? I found it really weird. And then I had a conversation with my therapist a few years back about how I just didn't feel like I was a person, how, like, don't have an identity because I only exist through external sources. So when I, like, work from home a lot, or I'm a freelancer, so I very much live freelancer-life, which is... Sometimes I'll go into the office and I would be the only one in the office, and, you know, I'm doing internships here, there. I'm working on projects with people. Sometimes I'm going to the library to work. Sometimes I'm working from home. Sometimes I'm with them. Sometimes it's video conferencing. Without sometimes weeks of that for 18 months at least. Some weeks I don't have any work. And so I don't see anyone. Sometimes I do have heaps of work, but it's all work from home, work on your computer, just me and my laptop. I can go wherever I want. And I wouldn't see people. I wouldn't speak to anybody. And so I became one of those people who, when I, you know, bought a t-shirt, I'd be like, how's your day going? And the person behind the counter would be like, yeah, it's fine. It's Friday lunchtime. It's busy. Like, get out. Here's your change, madam. But, like, you could see in their eyes, they were like, I don't want to have a conversation with you. And I get it because I worked in retail for 8 years. We all know how that goes. And there's a reason why I'm currently not working in retail anymore. It's because 8 years will suck your soul. And, you know, I'm just trying to get it back. You know, for a while I was very much like black-hearted. I think retail did that to me. And I'm just trying to be like a sunshine person from now on. We'll see how well that goes. But yeah, I've become that chatty person that's like, I don't know, buying Panadol at the pharmacy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I noticed you changed the racks. Tell me about it. And they'd be like, there are people in the line. Go away. And I'd be like, but I haven't spoken to anyone ever. Oh my God. Like, have a conversation with me. So because of that kind of lifestyle that I was living, where I wasn't really speaking to anybody and texting people and stuff, people are busy. You don't always get a response back, or they're at work, so they're not allowed to. I suddenly felt like I didn't exist. And I was speaking to my therapist about it. She was like, you need to put photos of yourself around your bedroom and around your house. So now I have a photo of myself as a kid. It's honest. Like, I picked it because it's the best photo of me. That's me putting my cup of tea down. I'm burping. This is a photo of me. My parents were like demolishing part of the house out in the backyard. I'm in my parents' house right now. It's where I live because quarantine. And I had like little shorts on, but no top. I was young enough that that didn't matter. And I'm like, come at me, like arms out, like full come at me, bro. Such attitude. So cool. Like, it's the sickest photo of me ever. And I'm like 5 or 6 in it. But that's now next to my bed, and I look at it all the time because I suddenly was like, didn't feel like a person. And I'm sort of in that position now where I'm like, I kind of feel like not really a person. But the difference is, back when I used to do it, people were busy, they wouldn't respond, or, you know, I would feel weird reaching out because I was like, I feel like I'm not entitled to other people's time, which is a self-esteem issue and not related to them at all. But now, I mean, everyone's working from home. Some people have lost their jobs, which is horrible. And I mean, the Australian government is doing a lot to help people, but I still think not enough. And I think that wasn't quick enough. And anyway, that's a whole other discussion. But regardless of why, people tend to have a lot more time on their hands. So when I message them, they're being like, hey girl, what's up? Like, do you want to chat? Do you want to talk on the phone? Do you want to Zoom? People are like, yes, please. Whereas previously they were like, talk on the phone? What? And it was really weird to call someone. And sometimes I'd call someone, no text, just call them out of the blue. They'd be like, what's up? What's going on? Is there an emergency? I'd be like, no, I just want to chat. Have you got time? And they'd be like, oh, no, I'm kind of busy. And I'd be like, that's cool. Like, have fun doing what you're doing. We can catch up later, but like, let me know. But they would clearly be weirded out by the fact that I was trying to call them on the phone. Whereas now everyone's like, yes, please. I need someone to talk to. So in that sense, my life hasn't changed drastically, the amount that I'm spending indoors. I mean, yes, I'm no longer going up to the local Westfield and buying Mexican food and like boba tea and spending way too much money on tank tops from Cotton On. I'm no longer doing that, which is great for my bank account and probably great for my, in consumption of jelly that you can't digest. But I don't know if that's true. Fact check that. But in terms of like my connection with other people, my life has improved because everybody else suddenly has time, and everybody else is suddenly feeling a feeling which I have been feeling for 18 months plus, which is, oh my God, I'm not speaking to any of my friends. I'm not seeing any of my friends face to face. I need to connect and reach out. So that's an interesting twist on it for me. There is still sort of that aspect of, I've seen a lot of people being like, does anyone feel like they're kind of waking up on Monday and thinking like, well, what's my focus going to be for this week? What am I going to do this week? And having to find purpose and getting to the weekend and being like, oh my God, it's Saturday again. Like, what? It's Saturday. Firstly, like, oh my God, it's Saturday. I thought it was Tuesday. But also, oh my God, how did we get here? A whole week has gone by. I've kind of accomplished nothing. I've kind of done nothing like important, quote unquote. Well, in that sense of the only way that we define success in our society is through making money for a corporation, because capitalism is evil. But anyway, that whole feeling of what is the point of waking up in the morning? And also, oh my God, time means nothing. I've been living in that space for 18 months. So part of me feels like I'm mentally in myself quite equipped to go into this time. I don't know if I can give any of that advice out and help you, because I honestly don't know how I got there. But there is a discussion to be had about like how to get through it. And I think that maybe I'm positioned well enough to be a part of that. Also, maybe not, because I'm not going through it for the first time. You know what I mean? And maybe other people figuring out how to be alone, or how to be in isolation, or how to like live with your parents again when you're 31 and haven't done that in a long, long time. Maybe that's something that I will never touch on, but you can see my eyes. That's the life I'm living. Yeah, I don't know. So I just like, hey, I'm here to chat. I'm here to like chat about what it's like to be somebody who has lived the kind of indoor freelancer life, the self-isolation life for quite a while, and how it's different when you choose to live that life versus when it's forced upon you, because it feels different. I mean, some days it feels exactly the same, and then some days it feels different. But then also just a discussion of like, here's a cool puzzle. Or like, here's a cool thing I watched. Like, how to survive being inside, both mentally, but also just like some fun random stuff that I feel like chatting about. And, I had a phone conversation with my best friend, and he was saying, we kind of discuss making videos a lot and making online content a lot, and what that looks like and what has value and what is beneficial to put out there. And, I spoke about this intersection between the Vlog Brothers and I watch a YouTuber called Tom Scott, who's amazing, who makes like 5-minute really informative videos, things you might not know. And just kind of like, and the phone conversations that I have with my best friend, and how much we sometimes just don't talk about ourselves at all. We have these really weird, deep conversations that I don't have with anyone else, that are kind of just thought process, just running through thought processes about imagine if this happened, or like, this is our take on economics, even though neither of us really understand it. He definitely understands it much more than I do. I'm good at quick arithmetic. He's good at understanding economic systems and how they impact the world. Slightly different. And I had this discussion. I was like, I kind of want to make like little 5-minute videos that are almost just like, hey, here's something interesting I read online the other day. Isn't this a funny, cool thing? Here's what I think about it. And I've done almost no research. But here's some thought processes about it. And here's how I'm feeling. And here's like some jumping off points. And maybe it'll be that too. Because at this point, this is how I'm connecting with people. Going to try not to have emotional nervous breakdowns on Instagram stories. Try being the key word there. But I don't know, just some fun, dumb stuff. Because like I call myself, I'm a dumb. And I am. But also I want to be like just a positive, light space where I can chat about stuff, but sometimes also be like, but sometimes it's real hard, isn't it, to get through? And this is what I'm doing. And hey, give me your tips, because I'm also struggling, vice versa, tit for tat, bits and bobs, ebbs and flows, all of those things, salt and pepper. And their child, paprika, which makes no sense. If you get that deep cut joke, I respect you and I love you, and I do anyway. And hey, just remember, you're a babe. I'm kind of excited to make this and see where it goes, and to ramble, because fuck, I love the sound of my own voice. Otherwise, why else would I be wearing headphones? Let's be honest, so does everyone who makes a podcast. And yeah, just kind of chat with you guys and just see what happens, and just see how long we're in this kind of lockdown quarantine for. Realistically, I think it will be 3 to 6 months, if not longer. So we'll just see, when we get to Christmas, we'll just see if I'm still making this. Heck, when we get to Anzac Day, which is in 3 weeks, let's see if I'm still making this. So I'm excited, and I guess I'll see you whenever I have some more thoughts that I want to put out onto the internet. This is going to be very minimally edited, because I am lazy, and also I can't afford to, I was about to say I can't afford programs, but actually right now, let me tell you this, creative people, Apple is giving a free download of both Logic Pro and Final Cut Pro, and Adobe Creative Cloud is giving certain customers, I think you might have to be a business customer or a student customer, I'm not sure, 60 free days. I could be wrong. Go Google it. You can get free creative stuff to make creative stuff in this time, and you should be doing that if you have the emotional energy to, and if you don't beat yourself up about it. Sending you love, sending you hand sanitizer vibes, sending you sunshine vibes, and don't forget, you're a babe. Bye.